I hired a cleaning lady while my son and his wife were away on vacation. An hour later, she called me panicked. "Sir, there's someone crying in the attic. It's not the TV." I rushed over and found out what they were hiding. My blood began to boil. My name's Howard Mitchell. I'm 72, living here in Portland, Oregon. Been retired from social work for about 7 years now, but those 45 years on the job don't just leave you. You learn to read people, spot the warning signs. Broken eye contact, nervous laughs, kids who jump when adults move too fast. I thought I was done with all that. Boy, was I wrong. See my son, Eugene. He's 37, works as an insurance claims adjuster, makes decent money at around $87,000 a year. He called me that Tuesday morning asking for a favor. Now, Eugene and I hadn't been real close since he married Beverly about 4 years back. She's this lifestyle blogger type, always taking pictures of her food and talking about their brand. Has maybe 47,000 followers on Instagram, whatever that's worth. Dad, Eugene says, skipping right past hello, Beverly and I are heading to Hawaii for 10 days. House is a mess and we need it deep cleaned while we're gone. Can you hire someone? We'll pay you back. Now in 18 months, they couldn't find 2 hours for their old man to visit, but suddenly they need me running errands for them. Still, when your kid asks for help, you help. That's just how it is. I called Diane Foster, used to work with her back in the day before she quit social services to start a cleaning business. Smart woman. Better for her mental health, she said. We kept in touch, Christmas cards and such. No problem, Howard, she says. I can start tomorrow morning. So the next day, June 4th, I drive over to Cedar Hill Drive to let Diane in. It's this nice 3-bedroom house I actually bought for Eugene and Beverly 4 years ago. Well, technically it's still in my name. Old habits from social work always keep a backup plan. The place looked the same outside, but inside, everything was white and gray and cold. Photos of Eugene and Beverly everywhere, beach trips, fancy dinners, hiking adventures, all smiles, all perfect. Not one picture with me in it. Beautiful home, Diane says politely, though I can see her taking in that showroom feel. Used to be, I mutter. All right, I'll leave you to it. Call if you need anything. I head back to my 1-bedroom downtown, smaller place, but it's mine. Got my workshop set up where I restore old furniture. Picked up a 1940s dresser at an estate sale I'd been working on. I'm maybe an hour into sanding when my phone rings. Diane's name on the screen. Howard. Her voice is shaking. You need to get back here right now. Now I've known Diane 20 years. She's seen some things, worked plenty of tough cases before she quit. She doesn't rattle easy. What's wrong? There's someone in the attic, someone crying. I thought maybe a TV or radio at first, but I checked everywhere. Howard, there's someone real up there, and they're crying. My blood went cold, grabbed my keys and made that drive in 14 minutes flat. Traffic lights were just suggestions. In 45 years of social work, you see things: kids hidden in closets, elderly folks locked in basements. The worst of humanity hiding behind closed doors. I told myself I was done with that world. Guess the world wasn't done with me. Diane is standing on the porch when I pull up, phone clutched in both hands, face pale as paper. Still going, she says. The crying stopped for a bit, then started again. I unlock the door and we go inside. House is quiet except for the AC humming and faintly from above, this soft, sobbing sound. A child's cry. You hear that enough times, you never forget it. The attic access is in the hallway. I yank the cord, ladder unfolds with a creak that sounds like thunder in the silence. Diane stays downstairs while I climb up. Attic's dim, just that little round window for light. Boxes stacked everywhere, Christmas stuff, old clothes, 4 years worth of junk, air's stale and hot. And in the far corner there's this old wooden closet, Victorian style, completely out of place up here. That's where the crying's coming from. My hands are shaking as I walk over. Been in situations like this before, but this is different. This is my son's house, my son's attic, my son's secret. I open that closet door. Inside's a little girl. Couldn't be more than 5 years old. Skinny, too skinny. Dark hair all tangled and dirty. Pink t-shirt stained and torn, shorts too small for her. Behind her, there's a thin mattress on the floor. Some plastic plates with dried food on them, half-empty water bottle. She's pressed into the corner, knees up to her chest, looking at me with these huge, scared eyes. For a second, I can't breathe. This is every nightmare case from my career, except it's happening in my own family. I crouch down slow, make myself smaller. Old training kicks in. Hey there, I say soft. I'm Howard. I'm not gonna hurt you. Can you tell me your name? She shrinks back, breathing fast and scared. It's okay. I keep going, voice gentle. I'm here to help you, hungry, thirsty. She watches me for a long moment, then whispers, Are you the cleaning lady's friend? Yes. Diane called me. She heard you crying and got worried. I tried to be quiet, she says, fresh tears rolling. I tried so hard, but I got scared. It's dark up here at night, and I heard noises. You don't have to be quiet anymore. What's your name, sweetheart? Another pause. Grace, my name is Grace. Grace, never heard Eugene mention any Grace. Never heard Beverly talk about kids at all. How old are you, Grace? 5. I'll be 6 in August. And Grace, whose house is this? Who brought you here? Her eyes drop, my daddy. Eugene. He said I have to stay up here while he and Beverly are gone. He said to be very quiet and not come down, and he'd be back soon. He said I'm supposed to stay hidden because I'm not supposed to be here. The cold spreading through my chest turns to ice. My daddy, Eugene. This is my granddaughter. Eugene has a daughter, had a daughter, and kept her locked in this attic like some shameful secret. And I knew nothing about it. Grace, I say, fighting to keep my voice steady. I'm Eugene's father. That makes me your grandfather. And I promise you're not staying in this attic anymore. Her eyes go wide. You're my grandpa? Yes, sweetheart. And we're getting you out of here right now. I help her stand. She's wobbly like she hasn't walked much lately. Guide her to the attic stairs. Diane gasps when she sees Grace. Call 911. I tell her, child in an attic, police and child services now. I carry Grace downstairs. She weighs nothing, menace, and set her on the couch. Get her water, crackers from the kitchen. She eats like she's starving, which she probably is. While Diane talks to 911, I sit next to Grace and the pieces start falling into place. My son had a daughter and hid her from everyone. Kept her locked in an attic like something to be ashamed of. And I raised him to be better than this. Sirens start up in the distance. Grace flinches at the sound. Those are the good guys, I tell her, taking her small hand. They're here to help. She looks up with those scared eyes. Is Daddy gonna be mad? I think about Eugene on some beach in Hawaii, posting perfect photos while his daughter sits in darkness. Don't worry about your daddy, I say. I'll handle him. Officer Victor Stone shows up first, then a white DHS sedan pulls up behind the patrol car. I know the drill, spent 45 years working with these folks. The caseworker's Linda Warren, somebody I'd worked with before I retired. She's maybe 10 years younger than me, been in the system long enough to know how things work. Howard Mitchell? She looks confused, then concerned. What are you doing here? This is my son's house, I say, the words tasting like ash. That's my granddaughter on the couch. Didn't know she existed until an hour ago. I watch Linda's face go through the emotions, surprise, understanding. Then that professional mask slipping into place. She's seen enough in this job to know families can hide anything. We'll need your complete statement, she says, pulling out her tablet. I tell her everything from the beginning. Eugene's call that morning, his request for me to coordinate the cleaning service. Diane finding Grace, the conditions in that attic closet. Linda takes notes asking the right questions, the ones I would have asked back in the day. Officer Stone photographs. Everything, the attic, the closet, that pathetic mattress on the floor. Diane gives her statement too, voice still shaky from what she discovered. Then the paramedics arrive to take Grace to the hospital for examination. She grabs onto my hand when they approach with their bright smiles and gentle voices. I'll follow right behind you, I promise her. I'm not going anywhere. You promise? Her voice is so small it breaks my heart. I promise, sweetheart. At Portland Providence Medical Center, they run every test imaginable. While doctors examine Grace, I sit with Linda in the waiting room. That's when the real picture starts coming together, and it's worse than I thought. We pulled the records, Linda says, scrolling through her tablet. Grace Mitchell, mother deceased 2 years ago, cancer. Father Eugene Mitchell was granted full custody. Clean file, no red flags anywhere. 2 years. Eugene's been hiding his daughter for 2 full years, ever since Beverly came into the picture. What about financial support? I ask, though I already suspect what she's going to tell me. Monthly payments of $1,200 from Eugene Mitchell to an account established in Grace's name. Standard child support arrangement for a custodial parent. Let me guess. He's got full access to that account. Linda looks at me sharply. How did you know that? Because I've seen this playbook before. Parents set up accounts to make everything look legitimate on paper, then drain them for personal use. You need to check his banking records. I guarantee you'll find withdrawals that match his own expenses. Linda makes a note on her tablet. We'll subpoena those records. The doctor emerges 3 hours later with a clipboard full of test results and a grim expression. Grace is severely malnourished, dehydrated, showing clear signs of prolonged stress and social isolation. No physical abuse. Small mercy, but the neglect is undeniable. They want to keep her overnight for observation and IV fluids. I go in to see her. She's in this hospital bed that looks enormous around her tiny frame, hooked up to an IV drip. Her eyes are closed, but they flutter open when I sit down beside her. Grandpa? She's testing the word, like she's not sure it's real. I'm here, Grace. Are they gonna make me go back to the attic? The question hits me like a punch to the gut. No, sweetheart, never again. I give you my word. She drifts off within minutes, exhausted by everything that's happened. I sit there watching her breathe, this little girl I never knew existed, and something cold and calculating starts building in my chest. Not anger. Anger burns hot and makes you stupid. This is something else. Strategic, patient, professional. My phone buzzes. Text from Linda. Initial assessment supports neglect charges. Opening formal investigation. DHS will contact you tomorrow about emergency placement options. I text back immediately. I want her placed with me. We'll discuss procedures tomorrow. I drive home well past midnight. My small apartment feels different now, emptier somehow. I make coffee, I don't drink, and sit at my kitchen table, staring at nothing and everything all at once. On the shelf above my desk sits a box of old case files, and on top of that box is my Department of Human Services badge from my last day on the job. They let me keep it as a retirement memento. Laminated plastic with retards stamped across it in red letters. Howard Mitchell, social worker, Department of Human Services. 45 years of walking into houses exactly like Eugene's, except I was always on the outside looking in. Always the one documenting the abuse, gathering evidence, building airtight cases to protect children from their own parents. Now I'm on the other side of it. Father of the abuser, grandfather of the victim, but I still know how the system works. Know the laws inside and out, the procedures, the legal loopholes. Know what evidence holds up in court and what gets thrown out. Know how to build a case that'll stand up against any defense attorney's challenges. More importantly, I know people, Linda and dozens of others still working in the department who remember me, who respect what I built during my time there. Eugene thought he could hide his daughter from the world, hide his shame and cruelty behind closed doors and those perfect Instagram photos Beverly's always posting. He made his first mistake asking me to coordinate that cleaning service, but that was just carelessness. His real mistake was much bigger. His real mistake was being my son, because I know exactly who he is now and I know exactly what needs to be done about it. I set that old badge down and opened my laptop. Time to start doing what I've always done best, building a case. This time, though, it's personal in a way that cuts deeper than anything I've ever worked on. Eugene has no idea what's coming for him, but he's about to find out that 45 years in child protective services taught me more than just how to save kids. It taught me how to destroy the people who hurt them. Morning comes too soon. I'm up at 5:30, coffee brewing, making my first call before 7 a.m. to Linda at DHS. Howard, I figured I'd hear from you early. I want a file for emergency kinship care placement. I tell her without preamble for Grace. You know the procedures as well as anyone. I helped write half of them. Grace is my granddaughter. I'm her closest living relative aside from Eugene, and he's now under active investigation for child neglect. I'm a retired social worker with 45 years of experience, clean background, and stable housing. Emergency kinship care exists exactly for situations like this one. There's a pause on Linda's end. It still requires approval, background verification, which I'll pass with flying colors. Linda, I'm not asking for special treatment here. I'm asking you to follow established protocols to keep my granddaughter out of the foster system while this investigation proceeds. You know as well as I do that family placement is always the preferred option when it's viable. Another pause. Longer this time. I'll expedite the paperwork, but Howard, this isn't going to be simple. Eugene is still her legal father. When he finds out what's happened, he's going to fight this. Let him fight, I say, and there's steel in my voice that surprises even me. I'll be ready. The paperwork arrives in my email within 2 hours. I fill out every line with the precision of someone who's done this dance 1,000 times before. By noon, I've submitted the complete application back to Linda. By 3 p.m. that afternoon, she calls with preliminary approval. Background check cleared faster than usual, she says, and I can hear the slight smile in her voice. Helps when you've got 45 years of clean service records. Grace can be released to your custody this evening, pending full investigation. You'll need weekly check-ins with our office, and Grace will require ongoing medical and psychological evaluations, whatever it takes. Howard. Linda's voice softens just a fraction. I'm sorry you're going through this. Not your fault, but thank you. My second call goes to Margaret Torres, a family law attorney whose name I'd kept in my contacts from a referral years back. Her office is downtown in one of those glass towers near Pioneer Courthouse Square. I schedule an appointment for that same afternoon. Margaret Torres turns out to be a sharp woman in her late 50s with steel gray hair and eyes that miss nothing. Her office walls are covered with law degrees and certificates that tell the story of someone who's been fighting these battles for decades. She listens to my complete story without interrupting once, taking occasional notes on a yellow legal pad. When I finish, she leans back in her leather chair and studies me for a long moment. Mr. Mitchell, I'm going to be completely straight with you. What you're describing represents a strong case for criminal neglect charges, possibly felony level depending on how the DA's office wants to proceed. But Eugene is still Grace's legal father. If he decides to fight for custody when he gets back from Hawaii, he has that right. Can he win? Not if we present the evidence correctly. Medical documentation of malnutrition and psychological trauma. Photographic evidence of her living conditions. Testimony from the cleaning woman who discovered her. Police and DHS reports. She taps her pen against the legal pad. But here's what we need to aim for: not just temporary custody for you, but permanent guardianship. Ideally, termination of Eugene's parental rights entirely. How do we make that happen? We build a case so comprehensive, so airtight, that no judge in the state would even consider ruling in his favor. Document everything. Every medical finding. Every financial record showing misuse of Grace's support money. Every neighbor who can testify they never saw a child at that house. We turn this into a fortress of evidence that no defense attorney can breach. She quotes me her retainer $800 and $500 up front, plus $350 per hour. I've got about $70,000 in retirement savings. It's going to hurt financially, but Grace is worth every penny of it. When do we start? I ask. Margaret's smile is razor sharp. We already have. I'll file preliminary motions tomorrow morning. In the meantime, I need you to gather everything you can. Photos of that attic space, copies of all police and DHS reports, Grace's complete medical records once they're available. And if we can prove financial exploitation, bank statements showing Eugene used Grace's money for personal expenses, that's a felony charge in Oregon. I know how to document a neglect case. I'm sure you do. One more thing though, Eugene's going to lawyer up the minute he realizes what's happening. Be prepared for him to paint you as the problem here. He'll claim you're overstepping, that this whole situation is some kind of misunderstanding. He'll try to manipulate the narrative to make himself look like the victim. Let him try. I pick up Grace from the hospital that evening. She's got a small bag of items the nurses put together, some clothes that actually fit her, a stuffed bear one of the pediatric nurses gave her, and not much else. Everything this child owns in the world fits in a hospital gift shop bag. During the drive to my apartment, she sits quietly in the passenger seat, staring out at the Portland streets like she's seeing the world for the first time. Where are we going, Grandpa? To my place. You're going to stay with me for a while. Is Daddy going to come get me? I keep my eyes on the road, but my grip tightens on the steering wheel. Not right now, sweetheart. Right now, you're safe with me. My one-bedroom apartment suddenly feels tiny with a 5-year-old in it. Grace stands in the doorway looking uncertain while I try to figure out sleeping arrangements on the fly. The couch will work fine for me. She gets the bedroom. Are you hungry? I ask. When's the last time you had a real meal that wasn't hospital food? She thinks about it for a long moment. I don't remember. I order pizza, pepperoni, figuring that's a safe bet for a kid. While we wait for delivery, Grace explores the apartment with careful, quiet steps, like she's afraid making too much noise will get her in trouble. She stops at my workbench where I'd been restoring that 1940s dresser. What's this? I fix old furniture, take something worn out, and make it beautiful again. She runs her finger along the smooth wood grain. It's pretty. You like art, drawing, coloring, that sort of thing. A small nod will get you supplies tomorrow. Paper, crayons, colored pencils, whatever you want. The pizza arrives and she eats like she hasn't seen food in days, which might not be far from the truth. 3 slices before she starts to slow down. I watch this little stranger who's my granddaughter and feel the full weight of what I've taken on. I'm 72 years old. I was looking forward to a quiet retirement, furniture projects, maybe some travel instead. I'm about to become a full-time guardian to a traumatized 5-year-old. But when I look at Grace, I don't feel regret. I feel purpose returning to my life in a way I hadn't expected. 2 days after Grace comes to live with me, my phone rings at 7 a.m. sharp, unknown number. But I answer it anyway. Dad. Eugene's voice comes through the speaker, tight, with barely controlled fury. What the hell have you done? So they know now. The Oregon State Police must have tracked them down in their Hawaiian paradise. Good morning to you too, son. Don't give me that. The police called us. They said Grace was found in our house, that she's in some hospital, that you— His voice cracks slightly, and I can hear Beverly shouting something in the background, that you called Child Protective Services on us. I called 911 when I found a malnourished 5-year-old locked in a closet in your attic. What exactly did you expect me to do? She's my daughter. You had no right. I had every right. I'm her grandfather. Not that you bothered to mention her existence to me. There's a pause, and I can hear them arguing in the background, Beverly's voice getting higher and more shrill. Then Eugene comes back on the line. We're flying home today, and when we get there, you're giving Grace back to us. She's not a borrowed car, Eugene. She's a child. And no, I'm not giving her back to the people who kept her locked in an attic. You can't do this. You can't just take someone's kid. I didn't take her. The state of Oregon placed her with me through emergency kinship care. Everything's completely legal and documented. But please do come home. I'm sure the authorities would love to speak with both of you in person. The line goes dead. I stand there holding the phone, feeling a cold satisfaction wash over me. They're cutting their perfect vacation short, scrambling to get back to Portland to face the consequences of what they've done. Good, let them scramble. Grace was still asleep in my bedroom when I made coffee and called Margaret that morning. They know, I told her. Eugene just called. They're flying back early from Hawaii, expected. They'll hire representation immediately and try to get emergency custody back. We need to be prepared. I could hear papers rustling on her end. I'm filing our motions this morning. Your petition for temporary guardianship and a formal request for investigation into criminal neglect. The medical reports from Providence are damning, Howard. Severe malnutrition, dehydration, clear evidence of prolonged isolation, combined with the photographic evidence of her living conditions. What about the financial exploitation angle? Working on it. I've already submitted subpoenas for Eugene's banking records. If we can prove he was systematically diverting Grace's support payments into his personal accounts, that's felony financial exploitation of a minor under Oregon law. How long until we get a hearing date? 2 weeks, maybe less if we push for emergency status. I'll call you the moment I have a court date. The next few days settled into a strange new routine. Grace was quiet and watchful, waking up several times each night from nightmares, disoriented and frightened. During the day, she followed me from room to room like she was afraid I might disappear if she let me out of her sight. I took her shopping for clothes since she'd been living in hospital donations. At the department store, she stared at the children's clothing racks like she'd never seen anything like them before. Maybe she hadn't, not in a very long time. Pick out whatever you like, I told her. She touched a yellow dress with small flowers on it, then quickly pulled her hand back. Beverly says bright colors are tacky. Beverly's not here anymore. Do you like that dress? The tiniest nod. Then it's yours. We filled an entire shopping cart. Dresses, jeans, t-shirts, pajamas with cartoon characters, shoes that actually fit her feet. At checkout, the total came to $487. I handed over my credit card without hesitation. Grace watched the bags pile up with wide eyes. Is this really all for me? She whispered. Every bit of it, sweetheart. 4 days after that first phone call, Eugene and Beverly returned to Portland. I knew because Eugene showed up at my apartment that evening, pounding on the door hard enough to rattle the frame. Grace froze on the couch where she'd been coloring in a new art book. Stay right here, I told her quietly. Everything's fine. I opened the door but kept the security chain latched. Eugene stood in the hallway looking like he hadn't slept in days. His hair was disheveled, that expensive polo shirt wrinkled and stained. Behind him, Beverly had her phone out, probably recording everything for her social media followers. Even in the middle of a family crisis, she was thinking about content creation. I want to see my daughter, Eugene demanded. No, you can't keep her from me. I'm her father. I have legal rights. You had rights. You forfeited them when you locked a 5-year-old in an attic closet. Now you have a court date and a whole lot of explaining to do. His face flushed red with anger. We were going to renovate that space. Make it into a proper bedroom for her. We just needed more time. 8 months, I said, leaning closer to the door gap. That's how long your neighbors say they've never once seen a child at your house. 8 months of Grace living in a closet while you two posted vacation photos and restaurant reviews on Instagram. I paused, watching his face carefully. Did it ever occur to you that I spent my entire career protecting children from people exactly like you? Beverly was still filming with her phone. This is kidnapping, she declared. We're documenting everything for our lawyer. Document away. I've got documentation too. Hospital records showing severe malnutrition. Police reports. Photographs of that closet she was living in. And very soon, I'll have your complete banking records showing exactly where Grace's support money went. That Tesla in your driveway cost about $47,000, didn't it? Eugene's face went from red to pale white. Beverly's phone slowly lowered. Get away from my door, I said calmly, before I call the police and report harassment. This isn't over, Eugene said, but his voice had lost most of its edge. No, it's not. It's just getting started. See you in court, son. I closed the door and engaged both locks. My hands were shaking, but not from fear, from the pure rush of finally confronting them face to face. The court hearing arrived exactly 10 days later. Multnomah County Courthouse, a stern gray building downtown where I'd testified in dozens of cases over the years. This time, though, I was the petitioner, fighting for my granddaughter's future. Margaret met me in the lobby, dressed in a sharp navy suit, briefcase in hand. Ready for this, as ready as I'll ever be. Eugene and Beverly were already there with their attorney, Richard Davis, a corporate lawyer who looked distinctly uncomfortable in family court. Someone had coached them on appropriate courtroom appearance. Eugene wore an expensive suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. Beverly had traded her usual flashy style for a conservative dress that made her look younger and more vulnerable. Judge Susan Harper called the proceedings to order at exactly 2 p.m. I'd appeared in her courtroom twice before years ago. She had a reputation for being thorough, fair, and completely intolerant of anyone trying to waste her time. Margaret presented our case methodically and without dramatics. The discovery of Grace in the attic closet. Medical documentation of malnutrition and signs of prolonged psychological trauma. Diane's testimony about finding her. Photographs of the so-called living space, minus a thin mattress, plastic dishes, a single bare light bulb. Judge Harper's expression grew harder with each piece of evidence. Davis attempted a defense, claiming this was all a misunderstanding, that his clients had been planning to renovate the attic into a proper bedroom, that I had jumped to conclusions and created this crisis out of nothing. Margaret stood up with a thick folder. Your Honor, we have sworn statements from 3 different neighbors. All confirm they have never once seen a child at the defendant's residence in over 8 months. No child playing in the yard. No child being taken to school. No child visible through any windows. She placed another document on the judge's bench. These are Grace's complete medical records from Portland Providence Medical Center. The attending physician documented severe malnutrition consistent with prolonged inadequate nutrition, chronic dehydration, and vitamin deficiencies. The psychological evaluation shows trauma patterns consistent with extended isolation. Then Margaret delivered the final blow. Your Honor, these are Eugene Mitchell's banking records for the past 24 months. She held up a detailed spreadsheet. Every month, Mr. Mitchell deposits exactly $1,200 into an account ostensibly for Grace's care, money he's legally required to pay as her custodial parent. Every month, that same money is withdrawn and spent on personal expenses, a Tesla automobile purchased for $47,000, multiple luxury vacations to Hawaii, Mexico, the Caribbean, high-end restaurant charges, designer clothing purchases from stores Beverly frequents. She turned to face Eugene directly. Mr. Mitchell has been systematically stealing from his own daughter while keeping her in conditions that can only be described as imprisonment. Judge Harper looked directly at Eugene. Mr. Mitchell, are these financial records accurate? Have you been using money designated for your daughter's care for personal expenses? Eugene's attorney whispered something urgent in his ear, but Eugene pushed him away. The money was there, and we had expenses, and I was planning to pay it back eventually. You were planning to pay back your 5-year-old daughter? The judge's voice could have frozen water. The same daughter you kept locked in an attic closet? The courtroom fell completely silent. Judge Harper spent what felt like an eternity reviewing her notes. Finally, she looked up. I'm granting permanent guardianship to Howard Mitchell pending resolution of criminal proceedings. Furthermore, I'm referring this case immediately to the district attorney's office for prosecution. The evidence presented suggests multiple felony charges. The gavel came down like thunder. Eugene made a choked sound. Beverly grabbed his arm as if to keep him from collapsing. 2 weeks later, the criminal charges were filed: child neglect in the first degree, child endangerment, financial exploitation of a minor. Eugene and Beverly were arrested on a Tuesday morning, though both posted bail within hours. The local news coverage was devastating. Insurance adjuster and lifestyle blogger charged in child abuse case. Eugene's employer placed him on administrative leave, then terminated him 3 days later. Beverly's Instagram empire collapsed as followers abandoned her by the thousands and sponsors pulled their contracts. At the sentencing hearing 3 months later, I gave a victim impact statement that I'd spent weeks preparing. I looked Eugene directly in the eyes and told the judge exactly what his choices had cost Grace. The nightmares, the fear, the therapy sessions twice a week to help her learn how to be a normal child again. Eugene received 30 months in state prison. Beverly got 24 months. Both lost any right to work with children for the rest of their lives. The final custody hearing was a formality. Judge Harper signed the permanent guardianship papers with a flourish. Grace was officially mine, and I was officially hers. That evening, as Grace slept safely in her new bedroom, painted pink with butterfly decorations and filled with her artwork, I sat in my living room reflecting on everything that had happened. My son was in prison. My granddaughter was healing. Justice had been served through proper legal channels. It wasn't the retirement I'd planned, but it was exactly the life I was meant to live. Listen, if you're watching this story, chances are you understand something about family responsibility. About what it means to protect the people who can't protect themselves. Maybe you've got grandkids of your own, or you've seen situations where the system failed and good people had to step up. Here's what I learned after 45 years in social work and this whole ordeal with Grace. The system only works when people who know how to use it actually do. Too many folks complain about government agencies and courts, but they don't understand that these institutions are tools. And like any tool, they're only as effective as the person wielding them. If you've got experience, knowledge, or just plain common sense, don't assume someone else will handle it. Don't wait for permission to do the right thing. Sometimes being a grandfather or a father or just a decent human being means you have to fight for what matters. And if you know how to fight smart, using the system instead of fighting against it, you can move mountains. Your family is counting on you to be that person when it matters most.